This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of Movie Reviews and Observations. So, the first movie that I watched this week, I had to return it back to the library. It was called Ice House. It was supposedly made in 2017 but released on DVD in 2020. And it's about two bros who haven't hung out in a while going to like this little fishing hole, this fish mobile trailer for them to, ice fish. And the one friend is like, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do this, you're not fun anymore. And then he's like, let me show you. I got a secret camera in my house where I can watch what my wife's doing. And his wife's cheating on him. And he thinks that his friend's cheating on his wife with him. And it's called into a murderous plot where he goes, I have contingency plans. If I kill you, nobody's going to know you're here. And then they're like, let's make it cool and interesting. And let's have the wife who's cheating on her husband hire the friend to kill him because he offers to the guy before he tries to kill him, would you like to kill my wife? So the fact that both the husband and wife offer to this dude who used to be in the military to kill one another, and eventually, obviously, I'm going to say he kills the dude because he's trying to survive, trying to blackmail him. Same thing with the woman, and it's just like the acting was bad. The woman who was in the movie was probably one of the worst acting I've seen, and the cinematography was bad. It was shaky. It looked like it was made by like a high schooler, middle schooler with their iPhone. I know iPhones are pretty good now, but even these straight to DVD movies or streaming movies, sometimes they have they have good enough cinematography. The filming and the editing is fine. You just think the dialogue, the acting, and the character development is not that good. And like Greg Berman is the dude in the movie, but then there's like the other dude in the movie, and you're just like, okay, cool. I've seen him before. The guy who was invited the dude out to do the Bros Night. He has been in occasional CBS or NBC shows, but again, like none of the actors I heard of, and I'm just like, yep, that's a really big waste of everybody's time. Then, due to miscommunication and horrible communication with AT&T's customer service reps, sales reps, and technicians, I was under the impression I was going to lose every show off my DVR. So I was like, I gotta go start watching stuff. So for 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, I didn't watch anything. So I did though watch a movie technically on Tuesday. I watched Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo. It's the Teen Titans TV movie about them being attacked by somebody and destroying the towers. So they go investigate in Tokyo, and they uncover a plot of who's the bad guy, who's not the bad guy. All these villains attacking them and stuff. So it just reminded me how good the original Teen Titans show was, despite being very anime Japanese-ish, especially with the theme song being from a Japanese girl group. And it was just like, okay, cool. Good to relive this. I liked Cyborg Beast Boy characters, Raven, Starfire. It was really good. The thing is, it reminds me of when I tried watching the Teen Titans movie versus Go, realizing how bad Teen Titans Go was, and that Cartoon Network likes to make shows and make them like 11 minutes at a time, and the animation looks weird, and it's low quality, but it's still on the air, and it makes me miss the show, even though comic book accurate wise, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and Cyborg are not in the original Teen Titans. That is Kid Flash, that is Aqualad, that is Speedy, and that's Wonder Girl with Robin, of course. So, it's great to watch it. And speaking of watching DC movies, so Warner Brothers and DC make these high quality animated movies in what they call the DC, animated universe, where a lot of it's based on New 52 somewhat, but they some have one-time movies about the main superheroes like Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, Flash. But then they got movies that kind of go together in the franchise about Justice League and other characters. This one was about Catwoman, of course, being a thief, supposedly being overseas and dealing with Black Mask and dealing with Leviathan in a way, and that like Cheetah's the main villain, and Tobias Whale's in the movie, and I'm just like, okay, Tobias Whale is a gangster. He works by himself. I don't understand him working with Cheetah or Lady Eve or any of these other people in the movie. And then you got Cheshire Cat, which was voiced by the same actress from Young Justice, who was good. Then all the people in Leviathan all had like powers or abilities or created monsters and creatures, and they were in there. and there was some like lady who had like bat wings who was also attacking, and then a Batwoman in the movie, and I really liked it because Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, In the Heights, etc. I liked that she got to voice Batwoman. It was pretty good, and Elizabeth, Gillies, who's Catwoman's okay. I like that Keith David was in the movie, but like him and Tobias Whale seemed a little off. Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, he was Black Mass, so that was interesting to see that. And Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek DS9, Next Generation, he doesn't really act or anything. He's more of a writer, director, producer. The fact that this dude was in the movie as one of these agents, and they had Julia Pennantworth that was voiced by Lauren Cohen, so I thought that was interesting. So like the voice cast had a lot of people who have done voice acting, a lot of like Keith David, and a lot of people who have been in other roles and stuff, so I thought it was really interesting. They had Solomon Grundy in this movie. They had all these different people that are from the DC universe, like the Minerva, which was against Cheetah. They had Solomon Grundy, King Faraday, which was what Jonathan Frakes was voicing. They had Talia al Ghul in there. They had, as I said, Cheshire and all these other people. So it was interesting. The thing that threw me off was the animation of usually these Warner Brother animated movies looks like the comic books. It's updated. It's fresh. But this was an anime style. All the characters looked like anime characters, like, Asian characters, with their eye structures and their faces and their demeanors and their how they stand and stuff. So like Catwoman and Batwoman and all these other characters like Julia Pennantworth, who's British. None of them looked British or none of them looked American. They all had the eyes and all the other stuff. So it threw me off. And then of course the villains and their outfits and their creatures and their powers also seemed like a little bit anime-ish too as well. So I was just like, it's a little odd. You have to get used to it being that it's an anime and it's not a regular comic book movie, but outside of the anime field that made it a little weird, and some of the voice actors who are good at what they were doing, just the roles they were put in were odd. It was a pretty good movie and it wasn't that long. Then I watched the movie Shithouse. Yep, it is. That's what it's called. It's got Cooper Raiff, who also made the movie, and Dylan Gulia, and it's got Logan Miller, who's been in a lot of things. The mother was Amy Landecker. And basically, I watched this with another person, and they're like, wow. The characters and how they interact, the roommates, the friends of the girl, how the guy and the girl meet one night, and they have this really good connection. They sleep together, and they drink, and they have this fun adventure, but how the two of them interact with each other post that one night, and how it progresses over like a couple of days to a week to a semester to a couple of years and stuff. And I was just like, you know what? It really surprised me how good this was, and the writing and the development, and how it actually, like, realistically, how you are when you're on college and you're trying to make it your way from your comforts at home, trying to be friends, trying to socialize, trying to get everything put together. It was interesting, the fact that this guy really spoke, Cooper, about real life stuff. Like, you may not directly relate to what he's going through or how she's going through, how she's treating him and stuff, but it was interesting. There was, like, some laugh out loud moments. There was some interesting characters in the movie, and the fact that one of the frat houses was called that, and there was a frat house called Basketball House. It was really good, and I can understand why it won the Grand Jury Prize at the 2020 SXSW Film Festival. Like, it was really good. And it was only an hour and like 30-something minutes, close to an hour and 40 minutes. It wasn't that long. And I just got to give them credit, because I thought, oh man, this is going to be a really dumb movie based on the title and based on another cliche college coming-of-age story or romance movie. But it was pretty good. And of course, Logan Miller plays like the dumb stoner pothead dude who's his roommate and stuff. And, I thought it was good. And the fact that, like, not just the critics on Rotten Tomatoes said it was good, but like the fans and former coworkers who noticed that I said I watched this movie were like, wow, I can't believe you watched this movie. It was really good. I'm like, yeah. So I would definitely say, like, you should watch this movie. Then I watched The Virtuoso with Anthony Hopkins and Anson Mount. And it says Abby Cornish and Eddie Marsan was in the movie, and some other people that you've seen before. And Hopkins is like some, mafiosa boss who has a hired hand who's, played by Mount. And I can give this Anson Mount credit. He was very meticulous in his mannerisms, his acting, and his speech of how he played the virtuoso, breaking it down to how many minutes he has to get escaping from like one situation, how he handles every situation, how he looks into things. So it's an interesting way to look at how meticulous these assassins and hired hands have to be to not get caught. So that was interesting with him narrating it and him showing you how everything is. But like the whole confusing plot of him looking for somebody and then they try to have a dumb plot twist with the woman and all the other characters and with Hopkins, that overall it kind of dragged on a bit. The character development wasn't that great. The script wasn't that great and how they wrote it, but it was interesting enough as one of these like crime, movies they call thrillers, action movies and stuff. So I can give Anson Mount credit, but again, Anthony Hopkins, I've seen you in like multiple movies over these past few years during the pandemic, and I don't understand. Like one movie was your daughter directing or wrote it or something, and you were in it, and some of these just aren't that great. So it's entertaining enough to watch because he's like a hired hand and he kills people, and you see how he kills people and stuff. But the whole way they went about it and put this into an hour and like 40 something minute movie, like almost an hour 45 minutes, you're just like, it dragged on a bit. It wasn't the greatest. But you give credit to the lead. He really sold it, and you were a little bit interested and hooked about it until it started getting way off the bandwagon. So, do never watch the movie Ice House. Not worth your time. If you are interested in how this guy goes through how he does different things, it's interesting. It's not the greatest movie. Shithouse was really, really good and surprised me. Catwoman Hunted, if you can get over the anime thing, it's again quality DC animated universe of movies where that's what DC's good at. Making cartoons in movies and TV shows and comic books. And Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo, if you ever watched the original Teen Titans TV show, you should definitely watch the movie. It goes hand in hand. Thanks for listening to another show, Movie Reviews and Observations, number 105. For On the Radar and Tablog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.